for joining us for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Everything in Between Countertop Talk. This is Chef Shan.
I'm Mr. Official, and this is episode 29.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. So, another great week. How was your week? How was your week personally?
I waited patiently for you to ask me that.
I appreciate that. Right. Thank you.
It was good. I had a great week, a productive week. We had some friend of ours come down to celebrate my birthday that was last month, but they just got a chance to come down to Houston, and we had a ball.
Great friends.
We had a great time.
Yeah, so.
Give me some of your water.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, good week. It was definitely a time to spend time with our good friends from Maryland over the week, and I was actually looking forward to it. The toughest thing is surprising you, though, because you asked so many questions, so it was hard. They had already coordinated everything. I just really needed to keep it away from you, but it was hard because you asked so many questions. What did you think we was doing? Because I told you I had something else planned for your birthday a month later. So what were you thinking?
I was going to do something like candles or make perfume or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Like just I went to before to John. Okay.
Yeah, so I thought we had to do that. You had something planned like that where so you had to reserve a certain time and everything. But I had no idea that they were coming down. I don't like surprises. I like to know what's going on and things of that nature. So it was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, I never knew that though. I've never heard you say you don't like. I've told you I don't like surprises, but
I just always want to know what you're doing, like what's going on, because a lot of times you may think that it's a surprise and it's something that I don't want. So that's why I like to know what's going on so I could say, hey, no, that's not for me.
Yeah,
I don't like
that's
that.
That's true.
You know, I'm very picky about, certain things. So I always want people, anytime you put in time and effort into something, I really want to make sure that the person that's thinking about me is not wasting their time or wasting their money. So I just like to, be upfront, like, hey, yeah, I'm not really into that. This will be more something, I would like or whatever.
That's true. That's true. I think I learned that the hard way when we was younger. When I was getting you jewelry, that you wasn't really into jewelry then.
Yeah, not like that. I mean, I like jewelry. I like
the jewelry you like.
Yeah, I like subtle things. I don't want you're flashy. I like subtle things. Like I would like just some earrings, just some diamond earrings, something like that. I don't need an iced out tennis bracelet or anything like that. I like subtle things.
You do. Yeah. You do. So you live in your room. So this week in a first thought, I came across something that was like very disturbing to me. I just want to read it. And especially with our friends visiting and us going to one of our favorite restaurants. We talked about before one of our favorite restaurants, what it's surrounded by. Mm-hmm. So it reads, lavish brunch party raises nearly $1 million for Houston homeless animals. So it was one paragraph, I think, that really, as I read this, that really stood out. It says, from classic brunch couture to photo-ready smiles, the same blended laid-back glam with serious fundraising muscle. And that muscle made an impact. Nearly $1 million was raised to fund PetSet's critical grant program, which supports rescue groups and shelters across Texas. Last year, the nonprofit distributed more than $400,000 to nearly 100 local partners. So, I have no problem with animals. We have a pet, Laker.
Our daughter.
Okay. But for the mayor to take a photo with these high-power investors and raise $1 million for animals, and from every city that I've been in the U.S., I have not seen more less fortunate people obviously dealing with mental illnesses than Houston. I mean, it is that's again, we talked about one of the downsides of going to the restaurant we love is that getting to that restaurant, which you have to drive by, is so disheartening, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes you will see people, or we will assist somebody with the best we can, but it's not even a drop in a bucket. It's like a drop in the ocean, you know. And not to say that animals don't deserve homes, but I'm gonna say animals don't deserve homes more than humans. I'm just gonna say that. And I just thought that was egregious. Like, we're bragging about a lavish brunch, the mayor smiling with investors and raising $1 million for pets, for animals. What about the homeless people?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents. I mean, it just kind of goes to, I guess, what we're going to be talking to today and where the world is today, because humanity, it just is taking a shift. It's taking a shift. And $1 million for displaced animals, it's that number. That number is it's just outrageous.
Yeah, see, you remember what Kanye said during Katrina towards Bush,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, America doesn't care about black people. I would say America doesn't care about people that's less fortunate. You know, rich people care about animals, they care about making more money, they
Mm-hmm.
care about the next big thing. They care about the fear of missing out on certain things. I mean, by my God, we had people spending all of this money to go to space and then come back
Wow.
down.
Yeah.
You know, so
What is like 400,000, I think, a trip?
it's a lot per trip, and you're not even up there that long. But you know, they're going to pull their money and their resources to what they want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the majority of them. I mean, we do hear things about Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. I know she just gave a lot of funds to Morgan State University, and she is pumping out a lot of money
To HBCUs, right?
HBCUs and different organizations. She does help out a lot, and I'm quite sure she's not the only one, but she's a big name.
Mm-hmm.
However, the majority, you do see things like that, whereas though their day to day is not stopping. As of today, you know, the stock market is the highest it has ever been. You hear about billions, not million, but billions of dollars being pushed into the AI, the quantum computing, you know, all of this. And we have such a huge issue with shelter. We have a huge issue in this country with water. You know, it's just a lot of missteps. And the missteps, to me, it's intentional because we have too much money, too much resources to have United States citizens like this. So raising $1 million for homeless pets is crazy.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And you know, I think about these people a lot, and how much money becomes enough money. I know that, you know, in our community, we have been groomed to make the best of what we had. We stretch things.
Yes.
You know, we learn creative ways to stretch meals and have it still taste well. We find creative ways to have less income and still try to achieve the American dream of home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear about how much the price of things are going up, but wages aren't going up. You know, there's some people that work in jobs that have never had a raise. And, you know, I think that's something you have experience with, and you have to really fight for it. So we have become accustomed to doing less, doing more with less. And it just makes me think, for these individuals who they can wake up any day and say, I want this or this, and they can get it. I guess the fulfillment comes from continuing to obtain things, like tangible things. But when is enough enough? You know, how much money, like, how much is enough to be content and say, you know what? And I know this is probably just me dreaming, but pay it forward. You know, I mean, if you're worth $500 billion, are you really going to spend that in a lifetime? And the goal is not to spend it, right? It's not to spend it, but how can you invest in something that will exist even after you're gone? You know, so I know a lot of their legacies are established, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I've always tried to find ways of how I can help others, and it's still making sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think most people that are genuinely good people, you know, feel like that. You know, how can I help out? How can I do this? And a lot of times people like yourself, they don't want anything in return, you know, but also this brunch, you know, looking at it was a brunch, it was, you know, Caucasian people, whatever, you know, they do a lot of their networking there as well. So it's probably beyond just finding a place for animals, you know, other deals are being made, you know, relationships, networking and things like that. You know, you just never know. Underground, you know, human trafficking, who knows what else was going on at that meeting, but that was just the, you know, the face of it, you know, oh, we're just trying to find, you know, homes for
displaced
homeless
animals.
Yeah, pets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this episode, we're going to be talking a lot about government, financial hardship, and all of that, because the news have been just unbelievable, I would say. We're still in the government shutdown, right?
Right.
So the big thing has been SNAP benefits are not going to happen for November. And what are people going to do? So we did talk about last episode where some people were saying, hey, I'm going to have to just go into the market and steal food or do this or do that. Well, November 1st is about to come up, and it looks like the government shutdown is still happening. What I find kind of odd, you know, we know SNAP benefits is federal. However, you're not really hearing anything from a state level saying that, hey, if this is not resolved by November 1st, we're going to have this aside that we can allocate for the people that's in need. We're going to have emergency funds, or we're going to have emergency this. You hear a lot of officials saying that, hey, go to your local food bank, you know, local food bank, Google a food bank, see what's near you, the food bank. And I know food banks are, you know, funded, they're a nonprofit, but it has to be, to me, it has to be more from our politicians than just telling everybody that's in need of food to go to a food bank, you know? So
I agree. And if the food bank and the church is our only option, and they're good options because they're doing what they can, we're in trouble. There's a lot of people in the U.S. that rely on SNAP benefits. And a lot of times it is portrayed as it's only one ethnic group that takes advantage of it, when everyone has hardships. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, it doesn't matter. Everybody has hardships. But it's incorrect that our group of people is the only people that are dependent on it. And, you know, race is one of the enemy's biggest weapons. Division and device. At the end of the day, people that are in need of SNAP benefits, if they qualify, they should be able to get SNAP benefits. It doesn't matter what color they are. But our politicians are put in place to to support their constituents, the individuals that are in their districts, their jurisdiction,
be an advocate
or whatever. And if the best that you can do is say publicly to go to a food bank, I think people can figure that out on their own. Mm-hmm. How about enlightening me of something that I am able to do, that I am able to make use of in our state that benefits me, that I may not know about, that the public may not know about? And it goes just back to humanity. You know, a lot of these politicians are millionaires, millionaires. Yet their salaries might be $125,000, $115,000, $130,000. And you look at how they have obtained their success. You know, one could say, well, they've been great with their investments from their salary, but they are obviously involved in other ventures that has increased their wealth. The main job that they have is to make sure they are a resource for their constituents. And I feel like we're not seeing it.
Sorry to cut you off, but not just the constituents, you know, because constituents are there, people that's of voting age, that's in their district, yada, yada, yada. But what about the kids? You know, what about the kids that are going to go to bed hungry? You know, they go to school to get the free lunch and, you know, free breakfast.
Right.
So what's going to happen with the kids, you know? So I just want to hear, you know, politicians come out and have some type of plan where people could say, okay, you know, our government is fighting for us. Even though they can't get this done in DC, our local government got our back. They're going to make sure kids are not going, you know, hungry, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So next, which goes into the line of hardship, things like that, Amazon is going to be laying off 30,000 people. They're saying that this is going to be, they said, white collar jobs, so corporate management, things of that nature. And you hear a lot of the terminology, this term, at scale.
Yes.
So do you want the honors of breaking down what they mean about at scales? You want me to break it down?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just really, how can you grow the business utilizing what you have for the most part?
Yes, but that's a new terminology. When I was in corporate, we didn't use that terminology, but you know, they're trying to make it sexy. They're trying to make it a sexy term to use, but basically, yes, they're letting go 30,000 people. This is not in the warehouses. This is not in their distribution. This is management. So these are people that they would be considered, you know, people that, you know, are homeowners, got their 401ks. They're middle class people that they are going to be laying off, and they're not going to rehire. They said that they hired too many people during the pandemic. And, you know, they're going to continue to grow their business, okay? But they're not going to hire any more people.
Right. So the flip side of that on the business is that it can work out one way, whereas now those individuals that they did retain, they're going to have more responsibilities. And I would be willing to bet with those responsibilities won't come more income.
Right.
The other part of that is that this is something that corporations have been doing for decades, which I hate, is laying people off during the holidays. We talk about that.
Yeah.
And for me, it's no regard for the people that are responsible for the day-to-day, the people that have play a role in a company being where it is. But it's selfish, because for someone to wake up and find out that they could possibly be losing their job at the end of October, I think it's just such a harsh thing. I think it's you know, you said the other day, like, you know, if you're going to do that, I mean, you know what you're going to do. Third quarter, into the second quarter, you have your projections for the end of the year. Why not let these people go in the summer? the end of spring to give them time to kind of recuperate. But I know from the business standpoint, they want to get as much productivity as they can out of these people to look lean as a company by the first quarter of the next year. Mm-hmm. And you've been a part of a company that does that. Major layoffs in November and December.
Every year.
It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate, to get news like that right before Thanksgiving and going into the holidays, knowing that, hey, you're getting this package. You have to, look for another job. And a lot of people that's in these situations, they have been in corporate, working their job 20 years, 18 years, things of that nature. It's a totally different market out here.
It is.
It's no more, FaceTime, face-to-face, where you can impress somebody from HR. Everything is AI, you got to send your resume in, you got the scanning of your resume.
Right.
So the chances of you getting an interview may be slim to none, because you have to go through all of these steps first, the screening, the this, the that. So it wasn't like that before. So people that's getting laid off, they're not going to find a new job so easily at that salary.
And you made a key point. It's not all these steps they have to go through in the beginning, because really, like now, as we reported previously with Workday, mm-hmm. AI is scanning for keywords. Mm-hmm. And we don't know the algorithm in which they are deciding that my resume went through Workday. Now it goes to the next step of meeting a person. We don't know. Mm-hmm. They're not giving us any criteria of how AI is being used. Now, will we be naive to say that I'm sure that it doesn't work in the favor of certain people? Yes. I mean, Workday reported that, the news reported that Workday is using AI in people that are over 40. I think it was also people of certain, having certain disabilities. And I also believe there was a certain group, I don't want to report because I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was filtering those people out. And we haven't heard anything else about that. That was almost a month ago.
Yeah.
Million, and there's a class action suit right now with individuals from the state of, I believe, California against Workday. So now these people are out of work. They weren't anticipating it because the news dropped, this morning for Amazon or yesterday?
For Amazon yesterday.
Yesterday and today.
Yeah, it was UPS. Yeah.
So now you're going into a job market that is extremely competitive, because not only do you have individuals unemployed looking for jobs, you're looking for people that are employed that are unhappy looking for jobs. And if I just could add this before I let you jump in here, this is why so many people went the route of entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. But when you're younger, the goal is, I know for me, it was like, man, I want to work in corporate America. Mm-hmm. And then you get a taste of it, and you're in corporate America, and then you're starting to see how things work and operate. And I know for me, I said, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm done. And you have a lot of people doing that. So now you have people that have invested 401ks at their jobs. You have a good job. Most people that are responsible looking, I may retire here. But I think the days of companies really looking out for them, there's still a few, but companies really having the best interests of their employees and people riding it out into retirement, I think it's few and far in between. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so the report for UPS that came out today, they said to date, UPS have laid off 48,000 people.
Today.
Up to this date. So from the beginning of the year until October 28th or whatever, they have laid off a total of 48,000.
Wow.
So that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. So it's, I know people are thinking that, only certain people are going through financial hardship. this right here is impacting so many people, so many verticals, so many different ways. I just think that this current president is going to go down in history for just being, to me, like the worst president ever. So many things are happening under his watch that are really not good for the country. It may be good for some people, but when you are the president, you're supposed to be the president for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely, this is a pivotal time in history. I think that after this term is up, I think this country will be different forever. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we can go back to where we were with how everything is right now. Secondly, you feel the tension in the atmosphere when you go certain, like, people are going through. And working in an industry like insurance, you communicate with people, you hear their stories, you hear about kids going to college, you hear about lifestyle changing, you hear about people prepping for retirement, not sure if they're going to get retirement, not sure if they're going to continue to get Social Security. People that have worked in government since they were 20 and now not working. So you hear these things and people are deflated. People are truly deflated. And I wish we all were in a better situation, because this is one of the worst times to be in a situation where, because they're saying the economy is doing well, mm-hmm. but the economy is doing well for who?
The 1%.
The 1%. Mm-hmm. So the middle class to lower class, they are really feeling the impact of everything. You have families that are dismantled. So usually times like this is where those families really rally. Everybody meeting the Big Mama house Sunday. We can all pitch in. Oh, your neighbor. Oh, I forgot to get this. Oh, girl, I got this. Come on over. I'm making this tonight. People don't have relationships with neighbors right now. People don't have relationships with family for the most part. And then you got a lot of people that even look at people that they work with a certain kind of way, because everybody's trying to elevate to get more money. So now it's like you have so many Americans that are in these silos and struggling alone. Mm-hmm. Struggling alone. Yeah. But that is where, shout out to the churches that are educating their people, giving their people financial literacy before times like this occur, because financial literacy is great. But if you're waiting until things hit the fan, those practices aren't really beneficial to you, Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like we say, we like to hibernate in the winter, act like we don't have any money, keep it to a minimum, and we like to come out in the summer. And now people are having to make decisions: do I pay my car insurance, or do I get groceries? We're less than a month away from Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And there's some people who usually carry the burden by themselves. So now you're going to have people say, hey, you know what? Most families probably say, I'll bring this. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. But if everybody is going through something, how does that happen? So I just pray. I pray for healing for all of our families, our relationships, because this is where those relationships really come into play, because you can have your world upside down at work. You can know that you might be losing a job, but if you have a group, a circle, family which you're tight knit with, and you guys are meeting weekly for dinner or things like that, it seems to make life a little lighter. It doesn't mean you still don't have your good and bad days, but it makes it lighter, right?
That's right.
Speak on it. Don't laugh. Speak on it.
Right. I mean, I think right now also, I mean, I'm quite sure a lot of people had the Bible app, but if you don't have the Bible app,
Tap in.
yeah, download the Bible app. And also something that me and my homegirl do, we do plans, we do plans with our kids and stuff like that. But, read the Bible and, just lock in, because a lot of this stuff is just like, wow, I just can't believe that we're here right now. And I wish my mother was alive, because she was into this conspiracy government stuff. And she would probably be like, I knew this was happening. She called it years ago. It's like, you ever watch those futuristic movies back in the 80s, and it's just like you had the humans underneath the bridge, and they had mud on their face, and they're over a trash can with the fire, and then like the robots are in the homes, and it's just like we're here.
But we always say these directors are just not that creative. They're getting information from somewhere.
Yeah, Candace Owens was on the Breakfast Club, and she was saying that, the Pentagon fund a lot of those Hollywood movies for propaganda. Yeah.
Never knew that. So they're getting a direction, and a lot of times it's a test. Let's see what the reaction is to this. Let's see what the reaction is to this series, and I believe it. I believe it. So I think another thing is to add is that, because people are like, oh, everybody wants to see when things are bad, read, pray to God. No, we should be doing that anyway. Right. But something that's important is just being intentional now. And when reading, I know for us, our feet don't hit the ground until we pray or read. Don't make us better than anybody. But I can't imagine in this world, like, going through navigating without the armor of God. Like, I need to start my day. We all need to start our day with that, because we don't know what the news cycle is going to have noon that day.
And I will say this, because I do have occurrences sometimes where, as though I don't read in the morning, and like my whole day is thrown off. And then like around 11, I'm like, why is my day so horrible? It just started. And I'm like, oh, I didn't read.
There's going to be something on the news or social media every day that is toxic. So before I get those things in, I need to get something in that's going to feed me,
Absolutely.
So it's I mean, greater times are ahead, but it's just, now is a time to be intentional. I was talking to one of my customers. Their car went up. They had a total loss, and they was ready to really crash out on a very big purchase. And talked to them about what the insurance would be. I talked to him about the numbers of people driving in our state without insurance. And then we were just talking about like everything that's kind of happening, So he made mention, he's about 10 years away from retirement. And I was like, oh, okay. And I, just asked him, do you know what your income is going to be, a percentage? And by the time we got off the call, I don't know if he's still going to get that car, but I do know he has a perspective now of thinking like, okay, I am going to have a decrease in my income in the next 8 to 10 years. Is this the time that I should do this, when I can wait a few years and really do it the right way and feel confident about it? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings, especially right now. We just don't know. So I think being intentional is critical to surviving this, because things are going to get better at some point, but we don't know when. So we just have to be intentional with those small decisions to those big decisions. Make sure it makes sense now and later.
Yeah. So before I don't want to, and I know you want to do your final thought, but I want to do something like fun, cute, before we go. But
okay, let's do it.
I do want to say this, because we said a lot of things that are like going on that's bad, but just some for information purposes, if needed, look into the food bank in your area, see what's available. Also, make sure that you are watching financial news, see what's happening, so you could just be in the loop of what's going on financially. Also, it's a lot of great YouTubers on YouTube that talk about just financial literacy. So just look into that as well. Just make sure you're informed. Okay, so I wanted to say that. So as for something cute, funny that we can laugh about, and this is just like off the cuff, just something I just
freestyling.
Yeah, just something just because I just want people to, tomorrow's not promised, so just maybe we could put a smile on somebody's face. Okay. So, what are two cute things that you look forward to me doing, or that I do that you like? Okay, so let me say that again. What are two cute things that I do or that you look forward to? So
you just came up with this and you want me to come off the top of my head? Okay.
I could start. Let me give you time to think and I'll say this because I think this is really cute and I just be like, I be acting like I don't like when you do it, but I really do like it. So when you be like, come on, it's time to go to sleep. Like you want me to go to sleep when you go to sleep. Sleepy. I don't want to go to sleep.
Message.
You be like, no, come on, Baba, it's time to go to sleep. I think that is just like so adorable that you want me to go.
You like that really? Because you be like, I don't gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I act like I don't like it, but I really do like it. That's funny. And so the second thing is that you get mad if we're watching like a show together, series together, and you see me watching the show without you.
That's cheating. That's cheating. Because I don't watch a lot of TV outside of basketball. So when I lock in with something with you, you have gotten me to the point where I like a lot of your shows. I do. Yes. But you're not supposed to watch it without me, regardless if I'm busy or not. You gotta. But I do know, I understand because you still do it.
But because you take forever, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then we be so behind. I'm like, what?
We be like 2 seasons behind.
Yes, waiting for you. So I'm like, but
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's the two things. So, what are some of the things you do with your mate or your mate do that you think is cute or funny or
so whatever? Something I look forward to with you never eat all your food. Mm-hmm. And I always need a little bit more to get me over the top at the dinner. So I love eating your leftovers, which is usually like half of a meal. Mm-hmm. And I guess something else is, I don't know, something that's cute that I act like I don't like, that I do like, or what I look forward to. What you
look forward to?
I can't think off the top of my head. It's a lot of little things, but nothing is like, aha, I think yours were good. You want to help
me? You don't like making drinks, so it don't matter what I have. I could have a coffee. It could be water. It could be a Red Bull. It could be a smoothie. Yeah. It's like you have to drink my stuff.
I do. That's my taxes. Yeah, that's. Yeah. And I don't know. That just started like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's something you was like. I just want to take. Like you don't even like coffee like that. But you don't like Red Bulls. Why are you drinking my shit?
But it's like it's right there, and I just need a swig or something. So it's like this works. So thank you. But to end it off this week, I always end by saying keep dreaming because you stop dreaming, you stop growing. But right now, I think it's a time where we really have to dream, see past where we are right now. And I know that's tough. I know that's easier said than done. But it says that there will be 7 years of famine and there will be 7 years of feasting. So, right now might be the time that you want to mix it up. I know a lot of people are not happy with the industry that they may be in. And there are a lot of people that are unemployed as well. But this might be the opportunity for you to look into a new field, something that's always been in the back of your mind or something an endeavor that you wanted to participate in. But just be wise when you do it. If you have a job, that's great. Let that job be your investor for your next opportunity. If you're in a job where you're not happy, look at something that you always wanted to do, but you never did. This may be that mix up that you need. But ultimately, everybody just look past where we are. We're going to get through it. Build with your family, with your friends, with your neighbors as best you can and organically as you can. But we're going to get through this, but see past where we are because it will get better. And that's it.
Okay, so we appreciate you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Be safe and be blessed, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Leave me hanging.
It is.